The back of racism is capitalism. And they say about education, we need a black militia. What we're saying is, you push, we push. You fight, we fight. Peace is not peace until you recognize our life. And we're not going to lay down no more. I'm not going down on a knee. I'm always going to be 10 toes standing. Just like my ancestors, 10 toes standing. No justice! No justice! Take it to the streets! I can't hear you. No justice! No justice! Take it to the streets! Take it to the streets! I ain't scared of no terrorist group. The police is no different from the KKK. They stand around and protect statues and buildings instead of people. They need to join the local council and start to litter pick too. When I say if they have a pepper spray, we have our own too. They have smokes, we have it too. Come together, put your fist in the air. Black power! We need our own political party because we have David Lammy, tokenistic. We have Sadiq Khan, is tokenistic. Priti Patel, tokenistic. We've had so many inquiries. We've had the Grenfell inquiry, the Windrush inquiry, the McPherson inquiry, the COVID inquiry. Fuck them, they know they're racist. Get ready to fight them. If they don't bring peace, they know what's gonna happen. One solution!
Revolution!
One solution!
Revolution!
One solution!
Revolution!
No justice!
No peace!
Take it to the streets!
Fuck the police!
Woo, fuck them!
Hey everyone, thanks for tuning in. You know, 2020 has definitely become the year that no one will forget, and all for the wrong reasons. Each day you turn around and something seems to be happening that you think, it can't get any stranger, it can't get any worse. But each day, I'm just proven to be completely wrong. Now, you've all seen the clip at the start of this video, and you've heard the rhetoric, and you've heard all the talking points. Now, at first, I was sitting back when I was watching the video and thought, this can't be real. This has to be a joke of some sort. Did I really hear that right? But turns out, after further review, yep, everything you heard is completely real, and it's not fake. Therefore, I had to do a video on this. Now, before we get into the arguments of the video, let's just take a step back and look at who is this person who's leading the charge. Now, from the current investigations that I've done, the lady in question is called Sasha Johnson. Now, she is the reported leader of the Oxford Black Lives Matter, and also, shock horror, is a member of a socialist party. Now, this part hasn't been confirmed, so don't quote me on this. However, it may also be true that she's currently studying at Oxford University. Again, don't quote me on that. It's not been confirmed. I've heard a lot of people say that's not true. And by God, I hope that isn't the case, because if it was, that'd be damning on the university in itself. It's just unbelievable. But I digress. So that was Sasha Johnson. That's the background on her. Now let's actually get into the merits of her argument. Now, the first thing that she says is the back of racism is capitalism. Now stop right there. Is she really for real? Is she stupid? If anyone knows anything about economics and economic systems, would already know how daft of a statement that is. For starters, capitalism defined is a system whereby industries are controlled by private owners, in which the price of goods or services that they provide are determined by the market's competition. So in simple terms, if you as an individual are looking to shop around for, I don't know, a light bulb or some food or appliances, you can go into numerous stores based on the budget that you want to pay for. And if a certain shop sells an item which is priced too high based on how other stores are selling them at, guess what will happen to that store? It will go under, and therefore other stores will have a rise, because they can also come into the market regardless of race, ethnicity or gender. I have to put that in there, and they can spot a gap in the market. It could be based on price, it could be based on customer service, how good the product is, and they can market and they can set up a business, and they can make sure that they can get to the top, all under the guise of capitalism. Now, let's look at socialism. Socialism is, in effect, the complete opposite. This is where industries are controlled by the state or community, where due to there being no competition because it's all controlled by the government, prices are therefore set by that controlling group, which is automatically going to be discriminatory at nature at best. Because if anyone has seen the actions of socialist countries, a lot of Eastern countries like China, for example, you would know exactly what their government practices in terms of certain industries, whereby if you are a foreigner, you can't buy houses without having someone from the host nation sign for it. They have to be the one named on the deed. You can't go into certain hotels, certain beaches because you are a foreigner there. So the fact of the matter is, a socialist government would inherently be a racist institution if you want it the way how they say they want it. And the funny thing about knowing all of this is consider the fact that these people in these groups are calling for revolutions because they're saying that the government's racist, because they're saying that it's institutionally racist, they're practicing discrimination and all this kind of practice here. Why in the hell are you calling for more government to control our daily lives? By definition, you should be calling for less government because for less government means it's a free market, which means anyone, regardless of race, color, and creed, can step into the market, provide for their families, and make their way up to the top. It's the classic immigrant story. You look at any Western nation which is predominantly capitalism, because in truth be told, there's no pure capitalistic society. A lot of them are mixed economies, but it does predominantly thrive off free competition and free markets. You look at the majority of the nations who practice this, and then you look at the success stories, and you juxtapose that to the population census. You will see a lot more diversity in those situations than in the opposite, purely because of the type of markets that it breeds. But hey, what can I say? When you actually study something, you realize how much bullshit comes into the airways, which you're like, this is just madness. I mean, make that all make sense. It doesn't, but what can I say? It's a good talking point and it's a good narrative. Now, the idea of a black militia to fight the KKK. Oops, sorry, I mean the police. I mean, let's just dissect that statement that was made. The KKK and the police, or the police is practically the KKK. Listen, the police aren't going around lynching innocent black people for sport. They aren't setting fires to black churches. They aren't setting crosses on fire in front of black-owned houses. They just aren't doing that, so quit that shit. And the fact that you can make that kind of comparison shows how little you know about the history of the KKK and what they've actually done. So that whole statement was complete bullshit and used just to emotionally charge a crowd. By comparing the police to the KKK, you've just basically you've emotionally manipulated the situation to get your own means. And it's such a typical way of doing these things from these types of individuals in these groups. Emotionally manipulate the audience, compare the police to the KKK. Oh my God, that's horrendous. Bullshit. If anything, this so-called black militia that wants to be set up, do you know what it needs to do? Honestly, you actually need that dispatching to the black community up and down this country, whereby black people who look like yourself are being stabbed, robbed, oppressed, distressed, all up and down this country. But you know what the funniest thing is? The perpetrator. There's something in common with that perpetrator, and it has a very similar skin tone to the lady who's speaking. Maybe that's why it doesn't matter for those kind of people. Maybe that's why they don't want a black militia in their own communities. I mean, I've never heard in my life such bullshit coming from people who call themselves leaders. I mean, this is the most distressing part. These aren't just average people who have a Twitter account, a YouTube account, a following. These are people who are quote unquote leaders. How the hell are we meant to take these people seriously? But they're meant to be quote unquote leaders. But all of this is just a smokescreen, just to incite a race war. Not only a race war, but it's just to overthrow the government, overthrow the quote unquote establishment to set up a new world order, which, in my opinion, will be led by a bunch of illiterate baboons who's going to take us all back to the flipping Stone Age. I mean, keep this in mind. These groups would stop at nothing to get their way. They're seeking to destroy anything and anyone in their way who don't agree or don't like what they're doing, or even their point of views. From statues to old TV shows to words, nothing is left. Everything's on the table, everything's on the cards. And don't you dare disagree with their point of view. Oh no. Don't you dare disagree with their point of view. because they'll call you all racist names under the sun, ad hominem attacks, smear campaigns, everything. Don't believe me? So before I end this video, let me share another clip of the same person who's engaged in a debate with someone who has a difference of an opinion. Now look what happens when she hears something she doesn't like from a person who shares the same skin tone. And you tell me whether these groups of individuals can be reasoned with. Until next time.
Why do you think kneeling on a man's neck for 8 minutes and 46 seconds will kill him?
I can show you a video now.
That's a legal hold, by the way.
I'll show you.
Listen, you just need to shut up, man. You're a coon. You just need to shut up.
Get angry some more and threaten me some more.
Get angry and threaten you some more.
Yeah.
I promise you. I don't threaten you. I promise you.
Promise, okay.
So come out there. Let's live through the promise. Come out there. Let's live through the promise.
Come on.
Come out there and we'll live through the promise. I can promise you now.
Come on.
Come out there and we live it through.
Okay, dude.
You're a coon. Dude, what? What do you mean? Because I'm a girl, you think I'm gonna fuck you up?
Come on, man.
Because I'm a girl.
We're here to
You're here to drive this side out to make it look like all black people are ignorant. Yeah, I'm angry right now because of what's going on. It's made me angry, yes. Just like when he was angry when he thought that his town was being destructed, his city statues were going down. I'm angry too.
Of course you're angry.
Yeah, so why are you calling me dude? What does the dude mean?
And you also
what does the dude mean?
You don't believe stats and facts.
What does the dude mean?
It's recorded.
What does the dude mean? What does the dude mean?
Do you know, I'll be honest.
How am I? You're what we're dealing with.
Yeah.
We're what you are. What we're dealing with.
Overly emotional, angry, quick to violence.
Are you calling a black woman angry? You're a coon. You don't need to be in this conversation. You don't need to be in this conversation.
You should be able.
How can I racially abuse this man? Can someone give this brother some knowledge? How can I racially abuse him? How can I?
Unarmed black men being killed. Do you?
Do I believe?